Right, welcome back to the channel, guys. I am currently in my car. I was meant to be doing this video on basically how to peak your deadlift back at home, in my office, in a nice background basically, but I'm very busy and so I thought, screw it, I'll do it in my car. So we're going to be talking about how to peak a deadlift. Now, when it comes to peaking, it's very, very simple. People overcomplicate it way too much, and for me, just all peaking is just ramping up the weight week by week, ramping up the intensity on the bar, eventually until you get to a 1 rep max attempt. That's all peaking is. You don't have to get very complicated or anything like that. It is very simple, and you just got to keep it simple. People like to just get a bit too complicated when it comes to peaking and just programming in general. You got to just keep things simple. You are going to get stronger as long as you put in the hard work before the peak in your blocks where you've done a lot more building work and stuff, a lot higher reps, and worked on your accessories and your weak points and stuff. You are going to get a new 1 rep max. So without further ado, we are going to be starting with the peak. So a lot of, when it comes, this is going to be a little bit disclaimer, to be quite honest. So when it comes to peaking, you've got to listen to your body, especially with the deadlift. It's very neurally driven, so a lot of the nervous system takes over. So you've got to sort of see how you respond after each week, after each session. Because if you're feeling fucked by week 5 and you feel like you've got no oomph, and when you come to deadlift, everything's just moving slow, the bar's moving slow, your lockout is feeling really basically tough to lock out. You're having to sort of hitch weights that you shouldn't really have to hitch, and then also your mind's just not in it and you feel weak. That's completely fine. Now, depending on what person you basically are, there's going to be 2 different types of people. So one person is probably going to be a person who just gets their head down, grinds through. If you've always done that, that's completely fine. The other person in camp 2 is going to be a little bit like me. When I'm in a peak, I like everything moving how it should, or even better than how it should. And that's just how I've always been, because then that gives me confidence going into building up to that 1 rep max. So usually when my deadlift is sort of feeling off, I like to strip either the weight back a little bit or the volume back. Usually I'll try and strip the volume back. So if it's 4 singles, I'd do 2 singles instead. I'm just listening to myself. I'd rather give myself a mini deload, a deload within quotation marks, because it's not necessarily a deload, but you're deloading on the volume of the intensity that you'd be lifting basically. And this is actually true with my 232.5 kilo deadlift. Now, I'll get this up on screen, but this is the best the deadlift that weight has ever moved. The bar speed is perfect, the lockout is strong, and I'm sort of shocked at how that moved. And now next week I'm going to be going for 245 or plus 245 and seeing what I can hit, and the idea is to not hitch. So yeah, fingers crossed that goes well. But that is a prime example of me 1 week before I'm going to be doing the sort of 1 rep max attempt without a hitch, and the weight's moving exactly how I want it. That's the example that I'm sort of saying. That's how you know that you've peaked well, and that's how you want your weights to be looking, to be quite honest with you. You don't want to be grinding out reps weeks before your 1 rep max PB, because you're just going to be fucking yourself when you actually come to your 1 rep max attempt. So let's jump straight in. This is going to be specifically for the deadlift, because how we're going to do it is we're going to do a 6-week peak. Most people require 6 weeks. You can go 8. 8 is the maximum you can probably peak your deadlift. And then if you're very experienced, you might be able to go on quite an aggressive peak. Maybe 3 weeks, because your neural sort of drive is already going to be really, really high. So you're not going to need as much time to peak basically. But so 6 weeks, and then how it's going to work is we're going to do 2 sessions, so 2 deadlifts each week. Depending on how your workouts are set up, you can shoehorn this example into your current workout plan, or you can create a workout plan around these, to be quite honest with you. So week 1, day 1 is going to be 75% of your current 1 rep max 2 sets, 5 to 7 reps. So we're starting off with some rep work, getting a little bit of cardio, a little bit of conditioning in there. And this is more just for getting a little bit of volume, just to get yourself really challenging yourself. Because to be quite honest with you, what you'll find is the first set should be pretty decent, but then that second set should be a lot harder to get to 7 reps. Fingers crossed anyway, if you got the percentages right. Obviously, percentages, they are a guideline, so sometimes some people might find a percentage too easy or too hard. For most people, 75% for the first deadlift session of the week, of the start of the peak, should be enough. And then for the second session, which is going to be a little bit later on in the week, this is going to be more speed focused, so we're trying to move the bar with as much speed and intent as possible. This is going to be at 60% of your current 1 rep max, 5 sets of 1 rep. Then for week 2, the first deadlift session that we are going to do is going to be at 80% of your current 1 rep max, 2 sets, 3 to 6 reps. Same again, first set, you should be able to tick off 6 reps, and then the second set, see how you're feeling. And when within these sets, you don't want to be making sure that you're hitching the fuck out of the last few reps. If you get to say 5 reps and you feel like you're on the verge of hitching, stop. It's not the end of the world. All you're going to do is you're just going to really, you're sort of sacrificing yourself a little bit, like your form and stuff, which in an ideal world you want to be strengthening up your glutes and your hamstrings to get a full solid lockout. If you're then just relying on a hitch to get an extra rep for the sake of just getting an extra rep, there's no point. You're going to fry your lower back out, you're going to fry your nervous system out a little bit more. When there's no point, you might as well save it. And I believe that is the reason why my deadlift is feeling so good at the end of this peak, because I haven't been silly within the higher reps when I run this peak myself a little bit earlier, a few weeks back. On this particular day, I got 5 reps on the second set. I could have hitched the 6th rep. I could have hitched it. I chose not to, chose to save myself, and I'm feeling great. So that's a bit of a evidence sort of backed that you don't have to grind out and hitch your last few reps just to tick completing the set. You've got a rep range there for a reason. Try and stick within it. Okay, then for the second workout of the second week is going to be 65% of your 1 rep max, 4 singles, 1 rep, nice and easy. Again, we're moving with some serious intent and speed on these sessions. Week 3 is going to be 85% of your 1 rep max, and we're going to do 2 sets of 3 reps. After that, we're then going to do 1 set of 3 reps at 75%. So we're sort of doing a little bit of a back off set to finish off with on this one. And then for the second session, again, moving nice and fast, we're going to go 70% of your 1 rep max, and we're going to go 3 sets of 1 rep, so 3 singles again on that one, just moving nicely. Then week 4, we're going to go 92.5% of your 1 rep max, so we've got a little bit more of a jump on this week, usually because we're trying to really get a bit more aggressive now with the intent of moving that bar and that shifting that weight nice and solid. Okay, so you're just going to be doing 3 singles at 92.5% for this first workout on week 4. And then for the second workout, this is going to be a little bit more of a deload on this one, so we're going to be at 50%, 2 sets, 5 reps, nice and easy. So for week 5, we're going to be carrying on the deload, so we're just going to do 80% of 3 singles. So 3 singles, 80%, again, nice and easy, taking it nice and easy, making sure that the bar's moving how exactly we want it. And then for the second session, we're going to go 60% of your 1 rep max. We're going to do 3 times 3, but we're also going to add a red mini band in there as well, so we're getting that tension at the top of the deadlift. And then week 6, which is the final week, we're going to send it on the first session, go for your 1 rep max attempt. Depending on what you're doing, if you're trying to go for no hitch, try and do a 1 rep max for no hitch. If you don't really mind about hitching and you're just going for an all-out 1 rep max attempt on this one, just absolutely send it, see what happens. Fingers crossed, if you follow this down to a T, you should hit a new 1 rep max. No, I can't say it now. 1 rep max. And then for the second session, we're just going to carry on the wave of the mini band. So 65%, 3 times 3 with the red mini band again, just ticking things over, and this will nicely carry on to your deadlift sessions later on. So that's the complete deadlift peak done and dusted. Hopefully you can take this away and hopefully you can hit some new PBs with it. Like I say, if you follow it, you should hit a new one rep max PB. And if you don't hit a 1 rep max PB, what you need to do is you need to go away, figure out where your weaknesses are, target them, strengthen them up, build a little bit of tissue around them, and then start running a peak again. What I will say is, as a little bit of a disclaimer to end with, you can't just rinse and repeat peaks. Just because this peak might have worked once with a deadlift doesn't mean when you come around to peaking your deadlift again like 10 weeks later, let's say for an example, doesn't mean this exact peak will work the exact same. Like you might hit a 20 kilo PB previously and you run this peak, you only hit a 5 kilo PB on the next one. It's just what happens. So there are plenty of different ways to peak a deadlift though, depending on your weak areas and your strong areas within the deadlift. So if you found this helpful, what I want you to do is comment down below, just anything, comment down below anything, just helps out the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you are interested in getting coached by me one-to-one online coaching, then click the link in the description below and fill out my inquiry form.